This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
Let us know if you have a question or a comment by pressing your star key 2 times. And your comments are welcome, and your questions are welcome. And if you would like a particular topic, if you want me to talk about diabetes or cancer or high blood pressure or anything else, I can do that. And we are making a video of this broadcast, which you can see later. It's on herbalhealthreview.com. On herbalhealthreview.com, under Discoveries in Health tab, all the way at the bottom are many videos. We've been way behind on the videos, but we're about ready to catch up again. So just know that all those videos are there. It's screen capture. So if I'm teaching a subject about a particular herb or about a particular health situation, a health condition, then I'm making a screen capture video of it. So you can watch it later while you're having dinner. You can fast forward it and or lunch, and you can pause it and go get a cup of tea. So it's really, I love this screen capture video, and we've got hundreds. We got over 100 of them, and by the time they get them all posted up, it's going to be more like about 175 at this point. Right now there's 152 up there. We're a little bit behind, but we're going to catch up now, and you're going to see all the videos. And every time you suggest a topic, that means I'm making a video about that topic. And then you can go over to herbalhealthreview.com and click on Discoveries in Health and go all the way to the bottom, and there's all these videos. Right now, 152. When we finally get them all in there, about 175 and counting. It just keeps on going. And that's only in this series. The YouTube series has over 300 videos and it's where I'm helping someone and where I'm teaching this. And what am I teaching? 56 years of research about natural remedies. And welcome to my friend over there in Pike Road, Alabama. One of my dear friends have just joined us. That's Prophet Elijah Beecham there in Pike Road, Alabama. And if you're anywhere near the area, and even if you're not even near the area, you should call Pastor Prophet Elijah Beecham and join his congregation. A wonderful pastor, absolutely 100% in spirit-filled and spirit-led. I just love that man, Pastor Elijah Beecham. And so if you're ever over or if you can call him, you can join his broadcasts or his ministry there, and even chat with him. His telephone number, I'm going to give it away here. That's you want to call this guy. He is absolutely wonderful. A wonderful pastor, and his telephone number is 334. Where'd he go? It jumped on me. I was looking at it, and I was reading the number, and somebody joined us here, and it bumped him clear off the board. He's down here. his telephone number in Pike Road, Alabama. That's 334-868-3881. 334-868-3881. Just an absolutely wonderful human being, terrific pastor, and man, can this guy pray! Wow, he always leaves me just well. I'm blessed when I hear that, when I hear him pray. So that being said, if you have a question or if you have a comment, it's a good time to open your microphone by pressing the star key 2 times and say, "Hey, Truman, why don't you talk about this or that?" But if you don't, I'm going to pick a topic, and my topic today, it should be all about kids. They're going back to school. That's what we should talk about. It's very timely. So I'm going to talk about going back to school and some things that would help these kids to be able to have a happy, healthy experience, which is difficult in public schools because they're evil these days. And I'll say that straight out. Public schools are government controlled, and evil in high places is right there in the public schools. It's evil, what they do, what they teach, what they propagate. It's all crept in there. I'm so glad I do not have to send my child to a public school. If at all you can, homeschool your child, because it's evil what's going on. I'm telling you, it's so evil. If you knew how bad it was, you'd figure out some way to get that kid homeschooled. And that being said, that's my 2 cents on that. And again, if you have a question, did I do that?
Call recording off.
Uh-oh, let's turn it back on then.
This call is being recorded.
Okay, I wasn't sure it was on, and I pressed it, and that turned it off. So I had to press it again. I have all these controls, video and audio and screens and so forth. I'm a one-man band. I do this totally alone. I don't have an assistant. So if I err, understand, I'm doing all of this. It's really sometimes gets away from me, but I think I'm getting to where I can hang on to this broadcast and go from end to end, without too many mess ups. But there's been some times, though, I'll tell you that, creating this situation and creating this screen capture and all this kind of stuff. Wow, it's been enormous because it's all cutting edge technology. Put it all together, make it all work, and wait for everybody else to refine their ability to make it really work. And I'm going to have a sip of herbal tea. Once again, your last chance before I talk about natural remedies for school children. Do you have a question or a comment? Open your mic. I hear one that is open right now. Do you have a question or a comment? Go ahead and area 916. Yes, Sister Sharon, do you have a question?
Yes, I do, Dr. Berst. Shalom to you and blessings. Sister Sandra, she is in the hospital today, and I would like to ask about inflamed intestines because they discovered that's what was wrong. And
yeah,
I just want to know what to do for that. I made her some tea and ginger ale, and that worked real good last week. But she's in the hospital today, so I'm praying that she gets out of there as soon as possible and she'll be calling you too, and she should be on the line. She said
Oh
she would.
yes. Well, we'll get her. Yeah, as soon as we can get her out of that
Could
hospital.
touch on inflamed. Yeah, if you can touch on inflamed intestines, and then she'll be getting in touch with you right away.
Right. So with inflamed intestines, we need to work with things like golden seal root powder, which doesn't destroy the good bacteria, but it does destroy all kinds of infections and bad bacteria. There's a host of natural bacteria. Let's visit them for a moment before we go to all the back-to-school remedies. Let's look at some of these remedies for an inflamed bowel, which actually we spoke about last week. We talked about Crohn's disease. That's an inflamed, ulcerated bowel. And so it would be like revisiting Crohn's disease and then looking at all of the natural remedies listed on herbalhealthreview.com. Those would be the two main reports, is the Crohn's disease report on herbalhealthreview.com under common conditions, and you go down to Crohn's, and it's going to talk about things that soothe an ulcerated, inflamed bowel, and it even has a picture of it, and you can see how red and inflamed it is at the ascending colon with Crohn's disease, and how with ulcerative colitis, it's the descending colon that is ulcerated and inflamed. But what is needed for very short term, if you have nothing else, we'll use some aloe vera. But I can't use aloe vera for long term, because aloe vera and aloe vera juice, and it's habit forming. That means that if you don't keep using it, you can't go to the bathroom. So I would use it for very short term if there was nothing else. Otherwise, I'm just going to go for the golden seal root, the marshmallow root, those kinds of herbs that are soothing to the kidneys, to the urinary tract, as well as the intestines. Fenugreek seed. These are all very, very good natural cleansing inflammation fighters, infection fighters. That's what we need when we have an inflamed colon. And one of the kings of this inflammation fighters is something called slippery elm bark powder. I remember way back in the day when I was just learning all these things back about 50 years ago, and I was talking to some people, and they said, "Oh yes, slippery elm bark powder. That's what we use, and we don't tell them we have cancer of the stomach, because if they did, then they'd try to get us into their hospitals and stuff." But the slippery elm bark powder puts the fire out. It's very mucilaginous, very nutritive. Will get rid of bed sores in nursing homes where people are laying in the same position until there's no flesh left, and then they get these bed sores and they have nothing to heal it up. Slippery elm bark poultices will heal bed sores. Internally, it will heal up ulcers and soothe them, and if there's cancer of the stomach, it will be very soothing and put out the inflammation, while you use other remedies that are going to destroy the cancers. So slippery elm bark powder, you get a pound of it, and you take a tablespoon of it, And if you're going to make a what they call a gruel or a soup, you bring as much water as you want to a boil, and you pull it off the burner and put a tablespoon of slippery elm powder with it. You stir it up, let it cool down, and then you spoon that and eat it. This slippery elm bark powder is so nutrient dense and has so much nutrition in it that this slippery elm bark powder will keep a baby alive that can't eat anymore. You can spoon feed this to the baby, it'll keep the baby alive. This slippery elm bark powder, if you give it to somebody who is very old and they can't eat anymore, they're done. You start giving them, this keeps them alive, soothes their stomach and their digestion, and gives them enough nutrients to stay alive. Slippery elm bark powder is very interesting, but that's one of the things we would use for this inflammation of the intestines. And we'd make sure then that they got lots of super veggie powder, because that's all the super green foods like chlorella and spirulina and barley grass and wheatgrass and alfalfa powder and olive leaf extract against viruses and Atlantic seaweed kelp for all the minerals. That's all in one powder called super veggie powder or super green foods. Number 4845. 4845. That powder, that is the basis. That super green food powder is so full of nutrition. It's the basis of the Make Lifestyle Changes diet. Without that diet, it would lose all the energy to fight fatigue and to detoxify you. And so that super green foods is so nutritious. And when you've got an inflamed stomach, you really need nutrition, but try to put something through there and ask the stomach to digest it and break it down. And wait a minute, we've got an inflamed stomach. So you want something that is loaded with nutrition that won't upset a raw, inflamed stomach. So you're going to use that super veggie powder, and you're going to use a tablespoon or two every day. I put it in my power drink. You can get it down any way you want. On food, in drinks, in beverages, super, it's a powder. You can also get it as a liquid. All you do is call the people that make it. Let me give you a special telephone number of the people who make all of these products that I don't sell. I don't get any money from the sale of any of their products. They don't send me a check. Really be great if they did, but they don't. So, that it's just the way it is. I don't get anything from the sale of any product. So we're talking about the manufacturer of the special telephone number. Write it down right now. The telephone number and it's the only it's the only manufacturer in the world. The only one. There's only one. This is it. There's no other. The only one that makes every product that we're talking about is their telephone number is 541-791-8400. That's 541-791-8400. So that and their website is betterhealthherbs.com. betterhealthherbs.com. 541-791-8400. And they will help you. They'll give you free consultations. So if you wonder what's good for this and what's good for that, they're not going to prescribe. I don't prescribe. We don't prescribe. What we do is we talk about natural remedies. And the natural remedies, we might suggest that this, from what we read and what we know, we can suggest, but we don't prescribe, we don't diagnose, we just don't do that. So because the evil people in America have made rules that if you did suggest, if you did diagnose and prescribe something better than their evil drugs and their evil kill you system, if you did, well, they got to put you in jail because it's one of their laws, because that's what they do. They pass a law against this and a law against that, and then they selectively choose what laws they inform which ones they are going to use and which ones they're not, and especially against themselves. Take Congress. Congress gets free health care. We get a system where it's really, what is it? What kind of a system is it? It's a depopulation system. That's right. You take these drugs, then you come back for more drugs and more drugs, and they kill you very slowly. And you're supposed to be happy with that system because they were paying for a lot of it. Now they want to pay for less. They want you to pay for all of killing yourself off, and they're not going to help you anymore kill yourself off. They want you to pay the bill, pay the entire bill. That's what Obamacare is. That's what anything they're going to come up with is how to kill you slowly, their way, with drugs, because all the politicians are getting their kickbacks. All of them? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's one or two that aren't. Just don't know about them. Evil in high places, an evil system, a keep you sick to death system. That's what that is. But there are herbs like slippery elm bark powder, super veggie powder, golden seal root against infections. Now we're talking about how to deal with an inflamed bowel. But there's a lot more. There's a stomach ulcers formula, number 1396, an herbal tincture extract, which the FDA and the government prosecutes, persecutes, and ridicules manufacturers, tries to drive them out of business. It's called the FDA. They're in the business of driving natural remedies out of business. That's their business. It isn't protecting you from their evil drugs, because plenty you look on TV and listen on the radio, and if you don't, every 10 minutes is commercial. If you took this drug, go to this doctor. If you took this drug, go to this attorney. If you took that drug, go to some other attorney. And if you took the other drug that's only killing a few people, not a lot, you can go to that attorney. And it goes on and on and on and on. And you're supposed to, and it's a long line, because the FDA rubber stamps all these drugs that kill people, because they're really busy stopping you from getting natural remedies, because they're paid billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars by Big Pharma to make sure that you don't get those natural remedies, that they vilify them, that they tell you that they're not regulated when they're over-regulated and harassed and obstructed. Yeah. Anyway, talking about, so there's all these formulas for ulcers. Then there's a colon and liver cleansing liquid to clean out the digestive tract, which is really messed up. And there's a special fiber, and that fiber is mucilaginous. It's very soft, and it just goes through there like a soft sponge, absorbing all the bad things and giving you all the good things, and pulling toxins to the fiber with the bentonite clay. and the psyllium husks. So it's a really wonderful system of detoxing and cleansing and cleaning the blood, cleaning the digestive tract, and sweeping it out with a very soft broom out the bowel because it's inflamed. Colloidal silver water will get rid of over 650 different diseases. And colloidal silver water, you can make it yourself. It is $60 a quart, but you can make it for 20 cents a quart if you know about a little box that costs about $90 and is guaranteed for life. It's called a colloidal silver water generator. You can get that from 541-791-8400, betterhealthherbs.com. You can get that there. They've got a great website. You can order things on website, put it in the shopping cart, or you can call them on the telephone and order over the telephone. They will help you. They won't diagnose or prescribe. They will suggest this, that, and the other. And if you're using this and you're saying, hey, is there anything better? I'll bet they know the best of whatever it is because they manufacture all of these remedies. And guess what? It's not some big corporation. It's three ladies, three women who manufacture all these remedies and fight off an evil government. Because what the evil government does is goes and sits down and obstructs them from working so that they can't make a living. They did that there was 3 health food stores in that town where Herbal Health Review, where betterhealthherbs.com, they're called Health and Herbs in Albany, Oregon. And their website is betterhealthherbs.com. And the FDA destroyed, by obstructing people from going to work and doing their job, so they went out of business. They got rid of 2 out of 3 health food stores in that little town. But those girls, they're heroes. They took it, they complied, they did everything they were supposed to do, and after 40 days out of 100 of government intervention, the government went away and said, here's about 30 days worth of reports that if you don't fill out, we're going to close your business. And it's really a ministry. They did it. They complied. And they manufacture all these products. And they jump over hoops for you to do it. There's no money in it. Believe me, anyone who's in the health food industry, if they're making money, they're not helping people. They're just pushing a product. And they must have some kind of a product and a great big marketing scheme and a whole lot of money to do it. Because the honest little people that keep this industry going, that have been the ground floor, get swept under the rug and get pushed out over a cliff by the FDA on a daily basis. They don't go after the big guys, unless they figure out some scheme how they can rob them and work their criminal extortion racket, because that's what it is, and then they threaten and intimidate and get money from them, and then they settle their case by giving the FDA a bunch of money if they're wealthy, and the FDA goes away and licks their chops and looks for another victim. But we're talking about Crohn's disease, but we're also talking about an evil system that stops you from getting this information, and the enormous amount of bullying by the federal government that it gets in order to bring you these products. There's a colon and liver cleanser and a fiber that cleans out the digestive tract and then soothes the bowel. We talked about colloidal silver water. when there's inflammation of the bowel, because the colloidal silver water, now that's going to get rid of 650 different diseases, and it'll get rid of bacteria, funguses, and viruses, and it'll help to clean this thing up. Vitamin C, you've got to have vitamin C. I recommend at least a minimum of 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 4 hours. And if you want a therapeutic dose, make that 2,000 every 4 hours. Why every 4 hours? Because it's gone in 4 hours. It comes in and it is gone in 4 hours. That's why you replenish it. 1,000 every 4 hours will keep you alive. 1,000 milligrams every 4 hours. And if you don't get that third dose, that's because you've gone to bed because you didn't stay up 12 hours. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you get your rest. And maybe increase your dosage to 2,000 every 4 hours. Now you're getting a good dose if you're only up 8 or 10 hours. Now, if you can get that super therapeutic dose of 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 4 hours, you now have a therapeutic dose of vitamin C that will increase your immune system, fight off cancers, fight off all kinds of diseases, because that is a therapeutic dose of vitamin C, is 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 4 hours. If you have stomach ulcers, instead of using ascorbic acid, let's use an esterified form of vitamin C. Esterified vitamin C is non-acid. If you have an inflamed intestine, ask for esterified vitamin C. L-glutamine, that's good for the stomach. L-taurine, good for the stomach and a lot of other things. B12 and folic acid, good for the brain, a cancer fighter. Gland rejuvenator will help restore all the glands to go back to work again. Super enzymes, going to digest and break down all the food and help it to do what it's supposed to do. So enzymes, yes. Omega-3 flaxseed oil, yep, good against inflammation. Echinacea root, Echinacea angustifolia. Yes, we can alternate golden seal with echinacea or use them together, echinacea and golden seal, maybe with a little poke root and cayenne. They used to call it Ant B formula because it was an antibiotic, but the FDA didn't like that. Said, oh no, people are allowed to understand what it's good for. We can't have that because we're evil. And they did. They took it away. So it's not Ant B anymore. I think it's just formula number 1018. That's what they did to a lot of the names, like heart, like cancer. Can't have any of those names. They wound up with just being a number, like a prisoner. They ought to just take a picture of it and just put a number on it, which is what they did. And so yeah, so it's they just have numbers now. But I remember what the numbers mean. I wouldn't use lecithin granules. I used them, but they are estrogen. They do. They're estrogen donors. So and especially if you've got cancers, don't use any kind of soy. No kind of soy. Soy messes up the hormones. And I'm in Jamaica, and it's a joke. I'm looking at everything in Jamaica. I'm looking at the bread. I'm looking at every kind of bread. It's got some soy in it. They are really wanting to turn every Jamaican man into a woman and every Jamaican woman into a man. Yeah, they're doing it. with soy, because that's what it does. It confuses the hormones. And so I'm not even using soy lecithin anymore, although in very small amounts. If there's dementia, I may use a little bit for a short period because it helps dementia. It helps the brain. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. It helps the nervous system, but it messes with the hormones because it's soy, and that's what it does. So don't eat soy anything. And man, there is soy everything here. To me, it's kind of like walking back in from the USA, who's savvy about natural remedies. Here in Jamaica, a wonderful, wonderful people that are still living in the 50s and 60s as far as health food is concerned. Eating soy, eating lots of sugar. Constipation is rampant. It's everywhere. And here we're in a country where their fruit, almost every one of their fruits, probably all of them, are all anti-cancer. And constipation, they can't go to the bathroom. They're eating all these, and they eat a lot of flour. That's going to give you constipation. A lot of bread. And the bread's got soy in it too. I don't care if it's white bread, green bread, or blue bread. It's got soy in it in Jamaica. Everything in Jamaica has sugar and soy. I took some True Juice the other day out of the cooler, and when I looked at it, yeah, it's True Juice. 23% juice, 72% puree and sugar. I'm surprised they didn't put the soy in it. It's really, and that's the way it used to be in the 60s and the 70s in America before Americans woke up. And the more they woke up, the more you got more chemtrails. They wanted to poison the air, and they put more crap in your water. They want to poison more of the water, and in the food, GMOs, man, poison the food. So they just amped up every other fluoride, put all kinds of chemicals in your water, your air, your food, and then tell you that they're your friendly government. They are not your friendly government. They are evil. And even those that are good in the government are under the heel of so many that are evil and propagating all this evil food, air pollution, water pollution, food pollution, and depopulation. And everybody in America, you see people are sick all over the place, even people who are on health food, because everything is contaminated. They've got so much. The politicians have taken so much money to depopulate America that it's very surprising that everyone in America isn't dead already. But they're working on it night and day. Now, there's something else that we can do here, and it's called Daily Health Tea, because we're on the trail here we're talking about inflammation of the bowel, and that there's a list of diseases. I mean, they got diverticulosis, diverticulitis, they got all kinds of names, ulcers, and on and on. That's inflammation of the bowel. And when you have inflammation of the bowel, you want to know about a tea that's listed in this Crohn's report that we already did a detail on a couple of weeks ago, and here we are back again, talking about it again, because we have an inflamed bowel. And here's how we get rid of it. Here's how we take care of that inflamed bowel. We make sure that they're taking that Daily Health Tea with Pau de Arco bark, because it's a blood cleaner. It's a cancer fighter. And that's why the FDA stopped it when it first came in 40 years ago. I brought it into America. And the FDA said, oh, no, you don't. That's an anti-cancer tea. We got big business going on there. We are killing lots of people with chemotherapy. Get that, they banned it. A few years went by. They brought it back in again because they couldn't stop it because it was just a tea. But it is anti-cancer. But it was very bitter, and people didn't want it. They said, "No, it's too bitter. It's the bark of a tree, man." So I took some stevia that's 300 times sweeter than sugar, and I sprayed that on the bark. Now that helped. Then I took some cinnamon, put that in there, all natural. Got that cinnamon in there, spray that on the bark. Hey, that tastes pretty good. How about some? So it's like stevia tastes like sugar, cinnamon tastes like cinnamon. Then there was ginger, and orange, and raspberry. had that bitter bark of a tree tasting really good. So that's when I called it Daily Health Tea, spice flavor. And so have a cup of tea, Daily Health Tea, spice flavor, fight cancer, and have a nice cup of tea. And then there's Intramax. Intramax. That is the most incredible multiple vitamin in the world. Intramax. It's over 415 ingredients, all organic, and it's in a liquid. And you take a half an ounce in the morning, hold it in your mouth for a minute, because anything liquid you hold in your mouth goes directly through your cheeks, under your tongue, sublingually, directly into the bloodstream. You're getting your money's worth. Always try to get a liquid. Liquid tincture extracts, the best you can get. That's the state-of-the-art way to take herbs. Taking them in capsules and tablets and so forth, no. When you take an extract and put that under the tongue, you get 300 more percent. 300% more with a tincture extract than if you took a capsule of herbs. Get your money's worth. Use the tincture extracts. A little squirt under the tongue. You don't like the taste? Well, add a little raw honey. Add a little, and if you can't deal with honey, get back to that stevia or some xylitol. That'll do it. Liquid stevia, stevia powder. It's very sweet. There are all these ways to do it, and really, you don't have to suffer. Anybody who is suffering just hasn't done the homework or doesn't know somebody who did the homework like me. So, Intramax, morning and night, half an ounce morning and night, gives you over 415 all-natural ingredients. That is the way to go. And now, here's something I love, and it's called MSM, methylsulfonylmethane. It's a powder. Looks like a big, like a pound of sugar. It's bitter. Not that bitter, but bitter. And you put a tablespoon in your mouth with some water, down it goes, and then you eat your food. And that's how you eat MSM. You take 1 tablespoon 3 times a day, 1 tablespoon with each meal. When you do, what it does is get rid of inflammation. Oh, we got an inflamed bowel or an inflamed stomach. Not anymore. It'll put out the fire, just like the slippery elm bark powder put out the fire. We've got a lot of things we can put out the fire with inflammation. The golden seal, the MSM, slippery elm bark, they all work. Now you've got the Intramax and the MSM powder, because, oh, by the way, the MSM, That's what they give an expensive racehorse. That's right, or an expensive athlete, so they have less inflammation. And oh, by the way, the side effect is a building block for every cell in your body. That's an enormous statement. A building block for every cell in your body. MSM powder. What I just said was, it'll keep every cell in your body young. You want to stay young? You want to still have power, stamina, endurance, and no inflammation? Or like an aging athlete? Or like a expensive racehorse, because that's what they get. So a racehorse has a beautiful coat, you'll have beautiful hair. Right, beautiful hair with MSM. 1 tablespoon before each meal, bam, chug it with not a lot of water, about 4 ounces, 2 to 4 ounces, because you don't want to have a lot of water going on before you're trying to eat your meal. So 2 to 4 ounces MSM powder, and then eat that meal, and beautiful hair, beautiful skin, and no inflammation. And what happened to the wrinkles when you're 76 and 77? When you don't have a whole bunch of wrinkles, you must be taking MSM. 1 tablespoon before each meal. That's the dose. Or you can go by what you'd get in a health food store. You can take these little capsules, have so little in it, won't do you any good. They say, oh, you should take it. It's worthless. Get it by the tablespoon and take it that way. MSM powder. So these are all things against inflammation. Cat's claw root, acidophilus powder. Absolutely. If you've got inflammation of the bowel, you really want the correct bacteria there. That's the acidophilus powder. Don't try to get it out of yogurt. You're not going to get it. You're going to get a bunch of glue, and that's going to gum everything up with all the yogurt and a little bit of acidophilus. Don't do it. Get pure acidophilus powder. Take a quarter to a half a teaspoon every morning. And if there's any kind of a yeast infection or candida imbalance or fungus infection, athlete's foot, jock itch, vaginal infection, be sure and take a half a teaspoon morning and night for the correct for the correct bacteria. And if you want the correct fermentation, because there's 2 things you want in your stomach: the right bacteria and the right fermentation.